Live, Arsenal Fans TV, Arsenal Fans TV Extra. It's full time over at the Etihad. Man City 2, Arsenal 1. A tale of two halves, really. We got off to a great start. Theo Walcott scored a lovely goal. Alexis Sanchez was all over the place in the first half. Second half, it just seemed to go to pot. A panel tonight who are really upset. I've got some calls who's standing by to call us, and you can tweet us as well. Tweet us your views. Really looking forward to seeing what your fans out there have got to say. He's going to be doing his regular reports with the guys who travelled all the way to Manchester. But first, I want to introduce you to the panel this evening. Joining me, I've got Chris. First time on the panel. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you, man. Really honoured to join you guys. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. We've got Colin, who's a regular on the show. Welcome, Colin.
Oh, man. I don't know what to say after that.
Fire, Colin. And joining us, I don't think he would be, is Mr. Lee Gunner. Welcome to the show again, Lee.
Hi, Mems. Hi, lads. You all right?
I've had better days, mate, to be honest with you. I think Spurs have won as well, and it's back-to-back defeats for us, so I'm a bit disappointed. I mean, evaluating the game, I'll come to you first, Chris. Guys, if you're watching live, there's a number of thousands who are joining us live. If you want to tweet the panel, use the hashtag AFTVextra. The guys are going to be checking your tweets, going to be reading them out. I've got a number of callers going to be calling up the show as well. To the panel's view. Firstly, Chris, it's back-to-back defeats. After the Everton defeat, I tweeted Wenger would do something differently. We see with Chelsea, when we beat them, the manager made a tactical change. Arsene Wenger started today, made only one substitute change to the Everton game, and that was bringing in Alex Iwobi for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. We got off to a very good start, but then it just all went the second half. What do you think it went wrong today, Chris?
I think you made a wonderful point using Chelsea as an example, where we absolutely destroyed Chelsea in that game, and probably the only game where I can honestly say we played absolutely faultless football. And clearly they went to the drawing board and they made changes, not just to personnel, but to structure, to systems, to tactics. They clearly just ripped up their current plan and went to plan B. And their plan B has taken them to 9 points, or now at the moment 7 points clear of the Premier League. Whereas with us, where you can see we had such a horrible, abject performance, as you say, against Everton, somehow we managed to find a worse performance in this game, which makes no sense to me. I don't know. I don't understand. Like, I was calling for changes, like starting Perez, because I figured, well, he's an unknown element. So why not put him in there and, dare I say, do something different? But no, he sticks with Walcott. And all right, but some would say, all right, well, Walcott scored. All right, so why couldn't you play Perez on the other side? Try something different. Even when you use your subs, you make your like-for-like change, taking Iwobi out, who was horrible today. Even I have to admit, he was horrible today. You put Ox on. Why not put Perez on? Why not try something different? Sorry, go ahead.
Come back to your point, Chris. I mean, I see all over the tweets going through the game. Chris, mate, I see a lot of tweets during the game. I mean, Perez scored a hat-trick in his last start. I mean, like you said as well, I mean, even when Ox came on, 2-1 down, and then when Ox was injured, I was screaming, why not bring Perez on? We're 2-1 down. The guy's, he can score goals, but he brings on El Neni. I couldn't understand that.
It made no sense. Like, surely we're looking for a goal. We're not looking to protect a defeat. Like, I don't understand the tactical mentality, thinking, right, I know, I'll bring El Nene on. Doesn't that defeat the purpose of why you bought off Coquelin in the first place? It made no sense to me. I don't understand what his reluctance is in going for a game. If you're going to lose a game, try losing it, chasing a game and trying to win it. Instead of just thinking to yourself, you know what, I'll just bend over and take it. Because that's basically what happened. As a team, we bent over and took it. That's exactly what happened.
I agree. It's a fair assessment, if I'm being honest, Chris. We did sort of bend over and take it at some point. Second half, some of the players, I'll come to you, Lee, because I know you're fuming and you want to get it out. Mesut Ozil today was anonymous. I was screaming at my TV for about the 65th minute. oh, Mesut's not in the game, get him off, bring Giroud on, and let's play 4-4-2. But what happens? We sit back, we don't make any tactical changes, and then they beat us. They score the extra goal. Ozil today was pretty poor. I mean, him out in particular. But when you pay £42 million for a player, you expect him to deliver in big games like this, don't you, Lee?
Well, Mems, I've said it for months, yeah, and I've been absolutely crucified for saying he's been missing since February. People have been going, oh yeah, but his assists this, his assists that. Well, where's his assists? Yeah, and then it's, oh well, now it's the pre-assist. Yeah, he's done fuck all for months. Let's have it right. He has done nothing. Yeah, right. Yeah, you can score against Ludogorets. Fair enough. He scored a great hat trick and he scored a fantastic winner in the away game. Yeah, I don't give a toss about Champions League. Yeah, we're never going to win it. He never buys a squad capable of challenging to win that competition. Yeah, so yeah, it's all well and good having them two little games against possibly a League One in England team if they came over here, because they ain't all that. Yeah, and you can throw the PSG result at me all you like. They're shit. Yeah, end of, right? He's done fuck all in this Premier League, yeah, on a consistent basis, not just one game here. And the problem with it is, Mems, right, is a lot of our fan base, right, they allow him to have 3, 4, 5 bad games in a row, because then when he does one pass, which leads to a goal, all is forgiven. Nah, mate, 42 million quid. We have carried, this geezer has been carried, yeah, for weeks. Yeah, the way he bottled the challenge for Williams' goal against Everton the other day, sort of flinched out of it and then held his arms out as if to blame everyone else. Yeah, if the geezer don't want to be here, fuck off. Yeah, end of. Right, at the end of the day, I expect £42 million footballer who's dubbed the best number 10 in the world. Yeah, I expect him to grab hold of games and dominate. Yeah. Nobody has come to me yet with 3 games that he has grabbed hold of and dominated away games in Premier League football in 4 years. Yeah, that in itself sums up all we need to know about Mesut Ozil. His luxury when it's going well, when he's missing, and when the team are up against it, he goes missing. Gary Neville summed him up perfect today. Yeah, I don't know if obviously everyone watched the game, or most people, I'm assuming, watched the game. Gary Neville sat there and said, Mesut Ozil's walking. 72nd minute, he's walking around the pitch when there's a title at stake. Says it all. And what I might not know fuck all about football as soon as I slag Ozil. What does Gary Neville not know what he's talking about either? Yeah, this geezer's won everything. Graham Souness said before the game, yeah, Arsenal and Man City, unless they change something in their style of play, yeah, and get a bit more physical, because they play pretty patterns and they're up there with the world's greatest at playing all these passing movements and all that. When they come up against it and get muscled off the ball, they don't have enough fight, yeah? Well, does Graham Souness not know nothing about football either? The geezer's won everything you can imagine, yeah? So it's all well and good sitting there sugarcoating over Ozil because he does a couple of little flicks and passes here and there, yeah? When you actually analyse what the geezer has brought to Arsenal Football Club in 4 years, it's not a great deal for a £42 million best number 10 in the world. And that's my rant over about Ozil, because I'm fucking sick of talking about the geezer, mate, to be honest.
Well, Lee,
yeah,
you made some good points about Ozil, and I think would agree that in big games he doesn't really deliver. I mean, yes, in some games you see him doing a wonderful assist and
yeah, but man, he scored against Man United reserves away last season. All's forgotten, mate. Do you know what I mean? A game we lost. It's like, you know, I want a team full of winners. We've carried this geezer for too long. Yeah. Yeah, we might not have anything better on the bench or in the squad, but at least somebody could take his spot and actually look like they give a fuck. Yeah, which should be standard as a professional footballer. Yeah, 100% effort, 100% desire, and the will to fucking win. Yeah, he ain't got it, and he ain't.
This is why, Lee. I said that it would be nice to have Giroud and Sanchez up front today. I mean, especially when it went 1-1, I thought we needed a plan B. If you're going to have a big lump up front, have Alexis, who seemed to be playing very well today, we looked up for it, have him just off of Giroud in that Ozil role and bring Giroud off. Why Wenger didn't make some tactical changes.
I mean, well, do we expect anything different from him? You know, I'm not being funny. Alexis Sanchez's in-game management's more than Arsene Wenger's. You see him ushering people forward to press every game I watch him. Yeah, people say, oh, well, Sanchez gives the ball away a lot. Mate, I don't give a toss if he gives the ball away a lot. Yeah, the geezer's an absolute quality footballer, yeah, who looks like he's trying. Yeah, that's all I ask. Look like you actually give a fuck to wear the shirt. Yeah, and I'm not just going to single Ozil out because, like I say, I've done that for months now. Yeah, Granit Xhaka today for that second goal, yeah, bottled that header, yeah, and he was piss poor for the header against Ashley Williams the other night as well, yeah, and it just seems like, you know, a lot of Arsenal fans get carried away because we were sat up near the top and we beat Chelsea. Yeah, we had this last season, lads. Yeah, they beat Leicester twice cup. You know, come on, man, we've got to do better. Yeah, Man City were there for the taking today, and I've tweeted before half time, we need a second. They won't be that shit again second half. We didn't get it, and then they just sort of went into their shells, man.
You're
Same
right.
old.
Colin, Lee makes the point that Man City were there for the taking. I mean, considering the amount of injuries and suspensions that they had today with Aguero, Fernandinho, some very key players out, today was a really missed opportunity, wasn't it?
We're not winning the league, lads. And I get no satisfaction in saying that. I'm not being funny, but there are people out there that said, in fact, before me, that we weren't going to win the league. And look, I wanted to get behind Arsene Wenger this year. I really did. I really did. But after that game, can anyone give me a logical footballing reason as to why this man should stay on?
No.
I'm waiting for one.
Because
there is none.
I can't, to be honest with you. And Colin, as you know, me and you have known each other for a long time. I've always been a big critic of Arsene Wenger. This year, because it's coming towards the end of his contract, I've been willing to sort of like give him the benefit of the doubt, etc. But now, today, people might turn around and say to me, it's only our third defeat of the season, but thinking long term now, I really, really hope.
We're not even halfway through yet.
No.
Title's over, lads, and we're not even at Christmas yet. Like,
it's sad, isn't it?
It's Groundhog Day. Like, and I'm not just gonna blame Arsene Wenger. Far from it. I mean, his tactics were piss poor today, but I'm not gonna just blame him. Those players, I'm sorry, they do not have the mentality to be at Arsenal Football Club right now. The only players that stand out as having the mentality, right? Alexis, because he busts his ass off every single fucking time. And while Coquelin was poor.
Coquelin's been decent this season.
While Coquelin wasn't that great today, I thought. He shows passion for the shirt.
He does.
Those are the only two that have the mentality to be at this football club. I'm not being funny, but Ozil was dreadful today. And it's not just today. It's been several games in a row now. The game against Everton where he pretty much bottles it and just leaves Ashley Williams unmarked. Was he even playing today?
I was so shocked because I actually noticed that on Lee's Twitter because he pinned it up. And I didn't even realize it during the game. And when I saw it, I was like, sorry, are you scared of the ball? What are you doing?
The worst of it is when he flicks his arms out and like, what? Why didn't you win the ball? As if it's not his fault. It's like, come on, man. This is supposedly a world-class, World Cup winning fucking player here, yeah?
He's not
Surely he has
Lee.
winning
He's
mentality.
Not.
He has winning mentality. He's played for Germany, man. Come on, man. You've got to do better.
He's not world-class, Lee. I'm sorry, but world-class to me is defined by taking games by the throat and really going at it. Does Ozil do that? Does he fuck?
Can I be honest? I think Arsenal fans have got this really bad habit of hanging players out, especially after a defeat. I mean, we saw it with Alex Iwobi. He got absolutely dog's abuse in midweek on social media. Ozil now, you know, we've hung out players in the past. Ramsey, Rude, Gabriel. When does... I understand that players have got to take some responsibility, but when does the attention... Because Arsene Wenger has had over the years. When does the excuses end? When is enough for us to turn around and say that, you know, is dried up as a manager, we need a fresh change? Do you think that he needs to go, give him another year's contract?
He needs to go now.
Here's the thing. I'll tell you why Wenger doesn't get the criticism he gets. There's this fear that people look at what happened at Man United and then they think, well, who's going to replace Wenger? If we get rid of Wenger, who's going to replace him? We're not going to get our top four. It's controversial. You might get dislikes for this comment, but I'm going to say it anyway. I honestly think sometimes in order to make progress, you need to regress a little bit. If you're going to change something, things are going to be uncertain for a bit. But in order to kind of move forward, sometimes you need to take a step back and say, look, is this working? I'd rather take a step back in order to take a few steps forward than stand still every single season. Moan every single season. Have this conversation every single season. It always annoys me whenever I see pundits and we're doing well and I get brought down, crashing to earth when I hear them say, well, it's Arsenal, isn't it? You know what's going to happen. Usually in February, they messed up. November, they messed up. And you know what hurts the most? They're always right. They're always right. And that's what really hurts me every single time. So if it means getting rid of Wenger, like Colin says, and like Lee, and I know Lee feels like this as well, that we do need that change. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we do need to take a step back in order to move forward. Chelsea did it. Look at Chelsea now.
Look at Man City, Chris. I mean, yeah, they're not doing great in the league right now. But thing about it is, they got rid of an inept manager in Pellegrini, right? And they went with, in my opinion, one of the greatest managers in world football right now in Pep Guardiola, right? This season is a transitional stage for Man City. Over the next few seasons, they will get better and better and better. The same with Man United. Louis van Gaal wasn't working out. What did they do? They changed the manager. When things aren't working out at Arsenal, do we change the manager? Nah, we just keep going with what we're doing.
Can I just add one more thing on to that? No, I was just going to say, like, people say about, oh, yeah, well, you don't want to end up like Man United, yeah, since Fergie left. Let's have it right. We've won one FA Cup more than Man United since Fergie left. Yeah? Who cares about finishing top four? It's like a trophy finishing top four. Yeah? I'd rather do what Chelsea did, win the title, finish 10th, and look like they're going to win the title again than finish second. Yeah, I'd rather do that.
Precisely my point.
Guys, I'm going to ask you to check your tweets. We've got almost 3,000 people watching us live at the moment. So if you can please get your tweets. I'm sure Twitter is active. I'm going to bring in our first caller of the evening. It's a gentleman who is not Arsene Wenger's biggest fan. Bradders. Sean, how you doing, mate? Welcome to the show. First time I've had you on ArsenalFanTV. Welcome to the show, mate.
All right, Memsy, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, mate. Well, I mean, we're all sitting here, we're all frustrated. We just watched pretty much Groundhog Day. People have been digging out Mesut Ozil and Granit Xhaka at players, etc.
Can I stop there? I think you're all outrageously being negative.
Coming from you. Mate, I don't know what to say because I've known you for about 6 years.
Listen, I'm only joking. We knew this was going to happen, didn't we?
Yeah.
We all knew it. All right, Lee, how are you? All right, mate?
I'm good, Sean. I'm good, mate. Good to have you on here, man.
We all knew this was going to happen. Oh, I'm not surprised. I even tipped us to win this game tonight. I said we were going to win 2-1.
Yeah.
I saw City's team. They had nothing. They didn't even have a bleeding striker, did they?
No.
Didn't even have a striker to even beat them. I mean, it's just...
Where did it go wrong today, Sean? I mean, we was 1-0 up, first attack.
Where it went wrong, Mems. Where it went wrong. It's the same thing that's been going on for years. It's in the mental mind, the mental strength. There isn't any. In it all the time, there isn't any. As soon as a team, we're fine when we're playing at home, and these teams are defending, like West Brom, Crystal Palace. Yeah, we can have little words on poking it about, and we can score a few goals. But as soon as we play half a decent team, they think, hang about, we get out Arsenal, we can beat them. Fine. Every time. It's just a joke. And it all goes back to the manager. It's inbred in the club. It's been inbred in the club for over 10 years. That the no need to win mentality, and it's ingrained. Wenger, you get these idiots on Twitter, the meerkat and the ticket tout, saying, oh, he got fourth with Danielson, he got fourth with Shamak. But we've now got Cech, Ozil, Sanchez, Mustafi. You can read them all off. We're still going to fight for fucking fourth.
Yeah. Now we've got a world class.
Exactly. But they will find them. They'll be on Twitter later. There'll be some twat on Twitter later telling me, get off English saying him to him. I mean, come on. Wake up, people.
But you know what? It's true. I mean, I'm going to get abused later on because I've given Arsene Wenger some sort of like leeway, but now I'm upset. Obviously, I'm frustrated, and I'm going to get called a flip flop. I'm going to get. I
know we all do. Listen, I stopped going to Arsenal. Right? I stopped going 5 years ago because I saw this coming. Right? I was sat watching Shamak and Danielson. I used to sit and watch all them, and I stopped going. And because I stopped going. Yeah. But come on, the amount of money I saved, not going to watch that shit. Because I can see it's going to happen. Lee knows it's going to happen. One thing I will say, I really do respect the fans that go every week, the DTs, the Thai. I mean, I know the Thai's an absolute bark, but I mean, I do respect him because he goes. You know what I mean? But come on, people, wake up. And I'll tell you, I'll answer your question. You said earlier, what's got to happen for it to change? The only way that this club is ever going to get rid of Wenger and change is the fans all get together.
It won't happen.
I mean, you're all supposed to be Arsenal fans. You're all supposed to want to win. Well, it ain't going to happen because the club's just going to keep on ripping you off. The same old shit. Wenger's going to get another contract in a couple of months' time. You think they would have left it this late? He's going to stay.
I think I'll be. If the infighting is bad now, Sean, if he gets a new contract, it will get even worse.
But the club have got what they've got, what they needed. They've got a ground full of idiots, and they don't need fans like Lee, me, you men, and all the old school people who used to go. They don't give a toss.
Mate, you've been a brilliant caller. It's absolutely a pleasure to have you on.
Listen, I decided I could be here for about 6 hours, mate.
I know you could.
But can I just say to all the people on Twitter, really appreciate it. It's good fun. And Lee, you're a star. And Kenny.
And you. I love you, brothers.
You're a good lad, brothers.
I can't do a word none of you are saying, but anyway.
Watch it back in the YouTube in a bit, mate. Honestly, brothers, you're an absolute legend, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas to you, sir, as well.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
I'll tell you what, he is one of the funniest guys on Twitter, but he talks a lot of sense. He's, he talks a lot of sense. I mean, what he says is correct. Arsenal don't want fans that want to win things. They just want fans that are going to pay their money, going to go over there, be content with finishing fourth place, be content with. At least we get. I saw a tweet a couple of months ago saying, "Well, at least we get to see the Real Madrids and Barcelonas playing over Arsenal." I don't give a fuck about, excuse my language, about getting to see Messi over there. I want us to win things. I want this mentality to end where we're just happy to finish with fourth, happy to sneak into the Champions League on the final day of the season, happy to finish above Spurs. We were sold the dream when we left Highbury. Colin, I'm going to come to you, mate. I mean, touching on Bradder as well. Is there anything on Twitter that you've picked up on, mate?
Yeah, one from, Pete, or at the PA Gunner. Is Wenger looking like a fool now, loaning out Jack Wilshere?
I thought Jack Wilshere was brilliant today, honestly. I think now he's playing regular football. It's amazing me how Jack Wilshere can play 90 minutes week in, week out at Bournemouth, but he couldn't manage it at Arsenal. He's looking a top player. I think we're struggling with Granit Xhaka. I don't think he's delivered as much as what we anticipated. So I think it was a bad move. I mean, Chris, Lee, what do you think about the old Jack Wilshere situation?
Well, no, go on, Chris. You go. Go
on. For me, so here's my honest opinion, because I know people are going to pick up what I said earlier on Twitter and be like, "Oh, but I thought you did." Initially, I was a fan of the idea of loaning out Jack. on hindsight, this is the type of game that we could have needed a Jack. Because for the simple reason that I feel like if nothing else, he's at least someone who plays for that badge. And I didn't see anyone today other than A.F.C and Coquelin who looked like they give a damn about the Arsenal football badge. And it's as simple as that.
Chris, I agree with you. When we played against United and when we played against Spurs, you know, I didn't see anyone with that desire. And I know Jack Wilshere's got that in abundance. And that's one thing that we're missing at the moment is, like you just said, a player that's going to stick up for the club, who's going to get dirty, he's going to roll his sleeves up and fire some bellies into the rest of the players. I don't see that. Alexis Sanchez, like you said, is the only one that leads from examples, closing people down, he's getting fired up. Coquelin does that. But apart from that, it's something that we don't have anymore, Lee. From that old school Tony Adams sort of approach. It's a dying breed. It's around football. I know that. But if you've got one of our own, Jack Wilshere.
I can understand the logic behind loaning him out. Personally, I don't put him up there on a pedestal like millions of others do. Yeah, he's had fantastic games, but he's never been fit enough for long enough to have a proper effect on this football club. His passion's fantastic. You can't knock him on that side of things there. But, you know, it's all well and good saying we shouldn't have loaned him out. But if we hadn't have loaned him out, would he have been fit at Arsenal anyway? Who knows? You know what I mean? It's great looking back on it now. But he is doing well at Bournemouth. I watched that game earlier.
Yeah, he played pretty well.
He played pretty decent. I know they lost, but he played pretty well. But, you know, at the end of the day, is it any coincidence that our football team is full of soft, weak players? You know, at the end of the day, your football team, your starting 11 and your bench are a mirror image of your manager. Yeah, you say it's a dying breed, Mems. Yeah, go and have a look at Diego Simeone's football team and look at his 11. Yeah, every single one of them are run for a brick wall for the geezer. Yeah, you know, at Arsenal, when the chips are down, you can count on 2 or 3 tops. Yeah, and that's not just this season. That's the season before and the 10 before that as well. And you know, people can say it's the best squad we've had in a decade, which arguably it might be. But at the end of the day, when you've got the same constant there, which is the manager, and I'm not going to turn this into a Wenger bashing, because, you know, I've done that for 5-6 years now. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's the same thing every year. We could have Messi up front and Ronaldo and Bale up front with Suarez as well, and we'd still not win the title. Yeah, that's my opinion. You know, I don't... It comes down to managers, tactics, knowing the players as well. I mean, like, you know, why did Iwobi start today? I wouldn't have started him. You know,
at the end of the day, I mean, Iwobi got a lot of criticism on midweek on basis of his performance. I thought his confidence would be low today.
Some of the stuff is out of order.
Any abuse held at any of our players on social media, you're not an Arsenal fan if you do so, if I'm being honest with you. But it was kind of strange that, based on the criticism that he got in this weekend, based on the fact that he's been having a bit of a bad run, to start him in a big game like this, Colin, called Arsene Wenger to start Iwobi.
Mams, I said it to you before the game even started. I would have gone with Lucas Perez.
Exactly.
Like, what is the harm? Or actually, no, I'm going to go a different route with this. What does Lucas Perez have to do to get a run of games?
It's a good question.
Leave Arsenal Football Club.
He scored a hat-trick in the Champions League. What does he get for it? Nothing. He's dropped at the team.
Yeah.
That'll dent a player's confidence more than anything. I mean, oh man, I just, you know what? I'm gonna go off on Wenger again, because ultimately this is his fault, right? In the first half, I noticed that we were giving City far too many chances, and we were allowing them far too much time on the ball as well. And while it was good, we went into half time 1-0 up. I was saying a very important thing, actually. Yes, we're 1-0 up, but I fully expect City to come at us in the second half. So we had to improve.
Yes.
What happened? They came at us and right from the whistle, practically, and they scored. I mean,
It's like the worst start possible to a second half, wasn't it? It was like,
what
what did
was our
Arsene Wenger say?
Look, guys, here's the fact, right? We have conceded 3 sloppy goals. No, 4 sloppy goals in 4 days. And we have only scored 2 goals. Is that...
I'm worried about this whole clean sheet business. I'm really worried
honestly,
about
lads, is that what a title-winning team does, really? Sorry, but it doesn't for me.
No. Guys, I'm going to take another call. I've got a gentleman standing by from West Indies. Jimmy. Good evening, Jimmy. How you doing?
Good evening, Mems, Lee, and everyone. Hope you can hear me.
We can hear you, mate. In the West Indies. Thank you for joining us on this evening. Did you watch the game, Jimmy? What do you think?
I think everything about the game itself has been said. It was a total shambles. It was a horror show from the 5th minute after we scored. From then on, it was just downhill from there.
What do you think changed in the second half, Jimmy? I mean, as Collins mentioned, that obviously a team that's playing at home, they're going to come out and give it some in the second half. But where did it go wrong for us? What do you think happened? What went wrong?
I think everything that was wrong with the performance today, from the beginning of the game, our goal was a counter-attack, and yeah, it was all well and good. You know, when we beat City last year, January, it was the same thing we played. So we got the goal on the counter-attack. Well, I think the setup from the very start was wrong. You know, it was all the way from the beginning. I don't know if it's the formation, the selection. It's just we went out there with the wrong mentality, and that's why I actually want to talk about the manager for a little bit.
Go for it.
Because this is the thing. Arsene Wenger is not going to sack himself. He's not going to take his hand and rip up his contract. If they put a new one in front of him, he's going to sign it. Any of you would sign it. I am not a Wenger out boy or whatever it is. I'm actually an Arsene Wenger fan. He's the reason I'm an Arsenal fan. But I can come out and say this. He's a selfish man. Selfish world. His ideas, his tactics, his transfers, the way he runs the team, it doesn't work. Bosses are above him that are willing to keep him at the club. He does. And as it was said with the last caller and a couple of guys on today, it doesn't really matter what the fans think. And Arsenal fans are not united on their opinion of the manager. So the division is enough to keep him on. And whatever the goals are at the club at the beginning of the season, he seems to meet them. That's why he's been able to keep his job so long. So talking about, okay, Wenger out, it's not going to happen if the people above him don't want him gone. So Arsene himself is not the problem, in my opinion. He's outdated. He's getting things wrong. He's not doing things properly. This game was there for us. They didn't have Aguero, they didn't have Fernandinho, they didn't have their spine. And we still bottled it. It's absolutely amazing.
You say that Arsene isn't the problem, it's the people above him. What Brad has said as well is that nothing will change until the fans unite. Now, obviously, you've said, Jimmy, that you was an Arsene fan because of Arsene Wenger, and you know how much respect you got for him. But you've also said that is times an element of some fans, Jimmy, at our club, that you cannot say a single word of criticism against Arsene Wenger because then you're called a plastic fan and not a true Arsenal fan. Now, if Arsenal really want to progress, do you think that if the fans all united and said, Arsene, thanks very much for what you've done, you can go with dignity at the end of the season? But you think that...
Like Lee said, that's not going to happen. There are fans out there who cannot say a single word of criticism against Arsene Wenger. And it's that in itself is actually worse than some of our performances. The other, quote-unquote, big clubs better than Arsene. Someone mentioned Pellegrini. He won the league. Pellegrini won the league. Arsene Wenger hasn't done that in 12 years. And some people are still going to, well, yeah, it's okay. We're in the Champions League every season. Chelsea are in the Champions League right now, but they're 9 points ahead of us, and we're still in flipping December.
Lads, you've made a great call. Jimmy, thank you very much for your call. I'm going to go to Chris for a response, mate. You've been absolutely brilliant, Jimmy. Thanks very much for calling in again, mate. I'm going to get your response. Chris, what do you think of Jimmy's call? Thank you very much, Jimmy.
Well, I guess what I'm going to say also ties in with a tweet I'm going to read in a minute. And I think what you also find a lot of, how can I say, opinions when it comes to Wenger comes from the younger fans who have grown up with him and have seen him there, and then they're a little bit worried that, gosh, if you change something, then it will all go to shit. And I don't like this idea that we're living in fear because of what might possibly happen. And that really gets on my nerves, that this fear that seems to be holding us back from doing the right thing, as opposed to kind of stagnating in one spot. For me, what the fear and the problem is, and for me, and I guess that kind of ties in with this tweet that I received from H. Guna. I've received very similar tweets, so I better read this one. Name suggestions if you want to replace Wenger, if you're going to replace him. I don't feel like, even if there isn't an obvious name out there, and I feel that there is, personally, but I'd want Simeone immediately.
Can I give my choice? I'll go from an unknown from the Japanese league, mate. That's what I'll do. Seemed to work last time. You know, you can name all these big names and they dismiss them left, right, and centre. So fuck it. Let's go and pick an unknown out of the J League.
Yeah.
Why not?
You know, nobody knew who Wenger was when he rocked up. So why dismiss Simeone, Pep, Klopps, Contes, and all these other big names? Yeah. You know, let's go and find one from Japan.
It's funny though, but it doesn't matter which manager you can suggest. There's some fans out there that will automatically say he's not good enough. He hasn't got the experience of this, or he's never done it in England before. Or he's only managed at clubs with money, or he's only managed at top clubs with top players.
Ultimately, change scares people. That's what it is. Change scares people, and that's why we won't ever unite, because he's been at the club for so long. People are scared. And
there's a massive majority, well, there's a massive percentage, and maybe not so much majority, but there's a massive percentage of Arsenal fans that have only ever known Arsene Wenger, that are in their early 20s, or late teens, mid-teens, whatever, that have only really known Arsene Wenger. So for the whole of their life, they've only seen him at the club. So then when people like me tweet stuff out about, oh, he's this, he's that, and he's done, it's like you're hurting a member of their family. You know, and you're not allowed to say nothing bad against him. And then when you do likewise with his record signing, it's, oh no, you can't have a go at him. He's the Messiah's record signing. It's like, you know, he's the only player immune from criticism at Arsenal, and he's the only man, Wenger, in world football who can decide when he wants to leave a football club. Barcelona fans, I think it was last season or the season before, Messi had a run of 2 or 3 games where he didn't score and he didn't look like he cared. Mate, he got chased out the ground. He was pulling out in his car. This is Lionel Messi, the world's greatest ever footballer, in my opinion. He got chased out the ground with fans kicking his motor. You know,
Arsenal fans are very, very patient with Arsene Wenger, put it that way. Guys, I'm going to take another call because he's on hold and I want to come to him. It's Akbar. How you doing, mate? Good evening.
How are you? Good to hear from you. How are you?
It's not too bad, mate. I mean, we're all sitting here. We're a bit glummed out. You know, we've just watched a back-to-back defeat. We're picking out players, mate. We're talking about Arsene Wenger. You know, Manchester City was a weak Manchester City. We really should have turned them over. And after the Everton defeat, we all wanted a reaction from the players, and we didn't get it today, mate. So, what's your feeling of the game? I mean, who's to blame, and where did it go wrong?
Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, man, I think it stems down from the manager. I mean, you know, this week was an absolutely massive week for us going into the Christmas period. Before going into the Christmas period, you know, Everton away, City away, and this is where you kind of see, well, come on then, lads, let's go for it. You know, we're in this title race, and you know, and I think the performance of those have just kind of summed it up. That was the most frustrating aspect for me today. I mean, the way he was just and I'm really worried about our left-hand side men, if I'm honest. I mean, Monreal, he's been a bit suspect in the last couple of weeks. I mean, I remember sort of against Swansea at home what was that, 2 months ago, when Barrow, gave him a hard time, and even today, he looked. For the goal, that was just really disappointing.
With the left-hand side, mate. I agree with you. I don't think Arsene even knows his strongest player on the left-hand side. Ever since Alexis Sanchez was moved from the left-hand side to up front, we seem to have tried a number of options there on that left-hand side. Iwobi, Oxlade-Chamberlain. We played Theo there, and I think as a result of that, none of those 3 players work as hard as Alexis Sanchez. So as a consequence, Monreal's now getting more and more exposed because he's not getting time to build up a relationship with whoever's playing on that left-hand side.
Yeah, absolutely. I do actually agree with that. But I'm thinking maybe it will be time in the transfer window to kind of look at that side. Because I think it was Kenny Ken about a month ago on one of the podcasts. He actually said, that left-hand side is a bit of a conundrum, and I completely agree with that. The amount of times we're kind of getting caught out on that side is really worrying. But it's just like Bradders and the other chap who you had on the call before. It's just really disappointing. There's all these. Thankfully, I didn't go today. I was meant to go today, but because of work commitments, I couldn't make it. Yeah. But it's just diabolical, and I just don't see where we go from here. We're 9 points adrift now, and I think it's just. It's catch up already. Whether we can claw it back, I just don't quite know. With the manager and some of the players who just don't have that passion for the shirt, and don't know what it means to wear the cap. It's just really disappointing. Are we overreacting a little bit here, mate? Because it is only Christmas and we are 9 points behind. We've come back from like this before. Are we overreacting a little bit, or do you think that the title is not in question anymore? Well, it's not impossible, but the thing is, man, we've seen this so many times before over the years, where it's like. We go to, especially when we go to places in the northwest, like your Anfields, Goodison Park. We just seem to sort of fall apart and crumble. The atmosphere kind of gets on top of us, and I think it goes back to the mentality really of the players really. But having said that, absolutely, So I don't think we are overreacting. It is a bit like Groundhog Day really. But maybe a lot of fans will probably say we are overreacting, but then I kind of disagree. Mate, thanks very much for your call. It's a pleasure to have you on your show. Thanks very much for your time and giving us your view. All the best. Cheers, mate. Thanks, mate. Bye. Great lad on Twitter. Colin, I want to come to you, mate. You're sitting there all glummed out. Can we turn this around?
Oh, man. What do I say? Like, Lee's gone over it. Chris has even gone over it extensively. So, what more can I say on the matter?
You better get yourself off there, mate.
Oh, Jesus. Can we what, right? For once,
can we do anything in the transfer window?
Draxler, maybe?
Play him on the left.
Yeah, but Colin, can he do it in the Premier League? He's never played here before.
Oh, that old question.
Well, it seems to work for managers, doesn't it? So, what about players?
Oh, yeah. I get tweets all the time when I say, you know what? Why don't we go for Thomas Tuchel of Dortmund? Why not? And I get constant tweets saying back to me, but he's never managed in the Premier League. He's not going to be good enough. And I'm like, yeah. Did Pep manage in the Premier League prior to coming here?
Conte's at top of the league. Conte, looking at the league table now.
No. Tell you what, if you offered me Chelsea's place right now with ours, I'd snap their hands off.
The problem. Go on, Lee. Go on, Mems.
No, I was just going to say.
Go on, mate. No, go on.
I'm going to hit you. Like, the problem with Chelsea, Conte, things like that, how he's adaptable, how sometimes a fresh approach can bring new life into a club. This time last year, Chelsea, they were going nowhere fast. You change your manager, he hasn't really signed that many players, but yet with a bit of tactics, with a bit of motivation, He's managed to get the best out of players like Diego Costa, Eden Hazard. You know,
Victor
so
Moses.
it just shows the impact. Yeah, it just shows the impact a manager can have at a club. Go on, Lee, mate. What was the point you're going to make?
No, I was just gonna say that notoriously January transfer windows are pointless. You know, you never see any massive signings really. None that I can immediately think of. It all happens in the summer window, sort of back end of the summer window as well. But
we signed Arshavin, mate. We signed Andre Arshavin in the January transfer window. So
yeah, we should have left him at Heathrow where he was sat in the snow, mate. other than his 4 against Liverpool,
we did sign
he done nothing.
January as well. So
yeah, I mean, when I'm talking about massive names, you know, massive names don't move in January. They don't tend to move in January. You know, they go in the summer window. So, I mean, I agree with everyone. The left-hand side of our midfield, since Sanchez has gone up front, he don't know his best. But then, you know, why don't you? I mean, Iwobi, I'm not going to ever slag Iwobi off, right? He's a kid trying to learn his trade, yeah, and he's got some fantastic players around him. But the problem with him is, our fan base are a joke at times and just coat him off every time he does something wrong, which will end up knocking the lad's confidence and he'll end up wanting to fuck off somewhere else. And, and I think he can be a top quality footballer.
Yeah.
The other problem with him is, though,
he's not a left winger.
Go on, Chris.
He isn't a left.
No, he's a centre midfield.
Yeah,
exactly. The other thing I was going to say on Iwobi as well is, right, overplaying him, like I think Arsene Wenger is not going to help him. Also, you've got to bring him on with 20 minutes to go. Start him and sub him after 60 minutes, then leave him out for 3 or 4 games.
Yes.
Yeah, and, you know, put him back in the reserves, let him have his little games back in the reserve, keep his feet on the ground.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's got undoubted talent,
yes,
but don't let this kid get carried away to thinking he's made it already and getting into the comfort zone. So you've got to manage him properly.
Perfect assessment.
Would you say, Chris, that Iwobi should go out on loan in January?
Is that
What do you reckon, Chris?
That's
for you, mate.
I wouldn't put him on loan, but I think what Ali has said is exactly what needs to happen. I think you do need to kind of rein him back, because it seems like every other Saturday I'm seeing him have an interview, and it's kind of like that kind of thing really, because it makes you think, oh, you're really kind of inflating his ego a little bit, and you just need to just yank him. That we have this habit in England, whenever a player happens to be able to dribble a ball, suddenly they're the next big thing.
Or run fast.
Yeah. And I just would like us to just shrink that a little bit. And almost, Wenger, who's usually quite big on protecting youngsters, for some reason hasn't done that with the Iwobi. And I'd like to see him do that a little bit more. And stop playing him on that left-hand side if you see it's not working. Like, I agree. For me, he's not a left winger. You need to play a left winger. And although Ox isn't a left winger either, at least he's a winger of sorts.
Yeah, he's got pace and he can get to the byline. Exactly. Guys, can we go to Twitter? Lee, is there anything on Twitter? Chris, Colin? I mean, we've been talking for hours. We've still got almost 3,000 people watching us. Is there anything on Twitter that the people on social media want to get to us?
I've got a couple actually.
Go on, Lee. Let's start with you, mate.
It was actually sent to me personally from Steve. Steve, let me 1 second. AFC 17. Sorry. Thanks, mate. But he said to me that Arsene Wenger, in his post-match press conference, has stated the mentality at Arsenal is really good at the minute. I mean, is that a piss take or what? Is he for real? Is he actually fucking taking the piss?
That's true.
Oh my god,
mate, unbelievable! Like, look, you know, at the end of the day, the fact that he has to keep saying the mental strength's good at Arsenal shows it ain't good at Arsenal. Yeah, you know, he's been saying this mental strength line for about 10 years now. It's getting boring.
Unfortunately, true. Colin, anything on Twitter?
Yeah, we've got one from Jamie Clinkett. Do you think Arsenal have relied on one player, i.e. Mustafi Cazorla? I personally think we have. Because
it just shows
I'm not being funny, Mems, right? But our defence without Mustafi is average at best. Like, because when Mustafi drops out of that team, you know how good a player is when they're not in the team. Mustafi has not been in the team for 2 games, and already we're missing the fuck out of him.
Just shows what a good signing he was, wasn't it? To be fair. I mean, I think a player that's getting away with absolutely murder at the moment, and people that don't criticise, is Peter Cech.
Yes,
Peter
I
Cech
agree.
today,
100%.
second goal.
Yeah.
At the near post, when Ryan Sterling cut in and he hit it with that left foot, a goalkeeper should never get beaten at his near post like that.
It's not the
If he
first
goes
time he's
away
done it,
from
though.
you,
He's done it several times.
I think
and the
Mems,
fact
he
that
nearly,
he's
he
gone,
nearly got done by Sterling when, De Bruyne, when De Bruyne hit the post as well. That was near post again. Yeah, and if he hadn't have hit the post, he wouldn't have saved it. You know, and I'm not going to slag Peter Cech off. He's the best keeper we've had for a long, long time. But yeah, it does need highlighting. He is vulnerable on his near post quite.
But I think that's why. Sorry, Babs, go on. No, I was going to say, I think going back to your point, exactly why people aren't criticising Cech, because people think, oh, they remember people like Almuna, so they think, oh, whenever Cech makes a mistake, let's not criticise him too much. But he's right. Two things that I would always criticise Cech about: his near post handling is horrible, and his kicking is awful. Did you see the second half at times? The first half at times where his kicking was just horrible. He couldn't seem to make the halfway line, and it was like, what on earth is going on?
And let's have it right, lads, yeah? The only reason we have Peter Cech is because it fell into Arsene Wenger's lap, literally.
Yes. And the fans forced that. We forced the agenda with that. We were like, you better go and buy it.
He nearly didn't sign him. He didn't want to pay 10 point whatever million it was, did he?
No.
He didn't want to sign him.
He said Ospina and that were world class, so we don't need him. Do you know what I mean? Fucking really? If Cech's available, you sign him.
Guys, I'm going to ask you to get your tweets ready. I've got to take another caller, so please keep on checking your tweets. Guys, if you're still watching us live, the thousands that are watching us live, we're going to wrap up the show in a minute. But my final call of the evening is a gentleman that's always on the panel, but unfortunately couldn't make us this evening. He's a gentleman called Sammy. How you doing, Sam?
How are you? Evening panel. How is everyone today?
Evening, Sam.
Well, this is the first time I've done TV Extra after a defeat. I've done a number of them, and it feels weird talking about a defeat and talking about how poor. But I think it's been coming, Sam, to be honest with you. What's your take on the game?
It's probably a good job I'm not on the panel today, because I think I would have smashed my screen or something like that. But I've been listening to it on the radio over the last hour and a half or so. I've been listening to Talk Sport and all the rest of it, and listening to Arsene Wenger's press conference, and it's just the same old. Uses his use that we're tired, we're this, we're that, the goals are offside, blaming the referees, the usual suspects on Twitter, not going to name any names, coming out with the usual bullshit. I just think we've got to look at the manager. We come across the same results, the same problems. He picks the same team pretty much for the last week, and they look shattered today. Granit Xhaka looked like he could sprint more than 10 yards today. Ozil, don't know what he's doing. He's been playing very poor since the international break. I know Lee's absolutely hammered him on Twitter, and rightly so. We've created 3 or 4 opportunities in the last 2 games and scored twice. I think I've seen the stat earlier as well. Over the season, we've had 80 shots on target, and that's the lowest in the top half of the table for chances created. It's something I've banged on about for a couple of weeks. We just don't create enough. Ozil's absolutely shocking, needs dropping. Something needs to change, and unfortunately, I'm not even going to repeat that bloke's name anymore because I'm that angry. I just think he's got to go. He needs to come out now and say, I'm not staying. We're looking for alternatives. I'm going to do the best I can do for the rest of the season and let someone else take over, because we can't move forward with him. We honestly cannot move forward with him. I
tweeted the other day, mate, and I agree with you. I don't think that as a club we can convince the likes of Alexis Sanchez, Mesut Ozil, and even go and buy top players if we don't even know the future of our manager. We need to know who's going to be the gaffer in 12 months' time. And until
if he's going to sign, then let's just get it done. Let's just get it done. We'll continue fighting for the next 2 or 3 years, however long he's here for. Those that want him to go and those who want him to stay. But we just need to know. I think this isn't a good situation to be in with the manager. So many key players, contracts are up for renewal, or we're talking to them. We're talking to people that, in my opinion, shouldn't be getting another contract at the club.
No.
It's just a mess. The whole club is a mess. And three things we talk about in my job, in management. You talk about mentality, work rate. Three things that we just haven't got as a club. And if you don't do those three key items, you'll never get anywhere. And I listened to Ian Wright on the radio, and he's like, "Oh, we don't, the managers don't say anything at half time." Well, who the fuck is saying something at half time? He needs to be going mental. Yeah. He needs to be going absolutely mental. All I hear on the radio, he sat down on the bench, Pep Guardiola's on the side, shouting, giving instructions. Where is that from our manager? I think he needs to take a long, hard look at himself now. I think he knows, to be honest with you, man, and everyone else. I think he knows that he can't take it forward, and this is his acid test this year. If he can maybe win something this year, I think that might convince him to stay. But I have absolutely no doubts. We're out of the title race now. We're fighting top four as per usual. Finish by December. Draw by Munich in the Champions League, and we're out of that again, isn't we? So it's just the same old repetitive bullshit we get year after year, and nothing is going to change until he goes, mate. It's as simple as that.
But you know what? If we finish in the top four, and if we finish above Spurs, there will be thousands of Arsenal fans, plus the Arsenal board of directors, that will see that as a successful season.
Yeah, but that's the problem, isn't it? That's the problem with our fan base. I've seen that. I'm not going to slag him off, but what's his name? Is it Chris on ArsenalFanTV, the ginger bloke?
Yeah.
The shit that it comes out of that bloke's mouth is just unbelievable. I hope he gets absolutely on ArsenalFanTV.
I'm not going to slag him off, but I'm going to anyway.
Absolutely right against the truth there.
Well, he said a couple of weeks ago that it's RIP to the WOB.
And since then, we've lost both games.
Well, DT said a couple of weeks ago that these two games will defy our season and the City game, and it has. So, DT gets criticised. People like Claude get criticised for being negative or whatever, but they talk sense. They talk from the heart, and you can't argue with those facts.
No, you can't, because the thing is, so many people agree with that opinion. And so many people see it that sort of way. A large percentage of the Arsenal fan base can't be right. Can't be wrong. Sorry, can't be wrong.
Sam,
I'm fuming, mate.
I know you feel. Sam, I mean, you touched on a point. I just want to come back to you as well. Is that you said that on the radio they were talking about Pep Guardiola dancing around on the touchline, and Wenger was just sitting there. At about 65th minute today, I could see that it was one-way traffic in the second half, and it was only a matter of time before I was screaming at the telly to do something tactically to change it. I mean, yesterday I watched Leicester, and Jamie Vardy got sent off, and I looked at the manager and I thought, what's he going to do here? He brings on Gray and Ajola, and he still played 4-4-2. Though Stoke were winning at the time, he just shows the impact a manager can have. If he's prepared to have a bit of balls and to do something different, it can happen.
It's the most important. The players are good enough. I am convinced this group of players are good enough to compete. We lack with a quality manager. He is a specialist in failure. I've got abuse on Twitter in the week for someone saying something about, Wenger and all this. Oh yeah, we compete. I was like, well, look at this. Last 12 years, we finished first or second in the Champions League and in the Premier League twice. Second in that whole pit. That is not competing.
No,
that's being consistent. That isn't competing. It's just so frustrating. I mean, we could compete. We could. We've got the money, the ground, the resources, the fan base. Listening to the show, we've got fans calling in from South Africa, India. We are a massive, massive club, and we don't deserve this. No. We do not deserve this shit that we get dealt with, this idiot, year after year after year. And I, trying to be positive towards the season, laid off the old Wenger out campaign and all that sort of business, and backing the team. But I got absolutely pelters in a WhatsApp group that we set up, to the point where I actually got barred from it, because I was like, well, I don't know why everyone's so positive. We'll crash and burn, blah, blah, blah. And look what's happened. It's so predictable. Picked out our weak points today. Monreal. And what happened? Absolutely skinned. Not for the first time, I might add, this season.
What Chris said.
First, he got smacked. He got skinned 2 or 3 times in the game because his pace, his legs have gone, mate. He's 30 years old now. And I'm so glad I didn't watch the game, so I'd be even more frustrated than I am now. I really am. I'm very disappointed, and I'm sick of all the people. There's nothing positive to take out of today. Not one player played well. I think Czech made more passes than any other player. I mean, what is that about? Just, what is that about?
Mate,
we're supposed to be competing at the top level. We've been told that we're one of the top teams in Europe. Absolutely no chance. Not after today.
There's a myth going around Arsenal that we play the best attacking in the world.
No,
I haven't seen that for a very, very long time.
No, we don't create enough.
No.
We don't score enough. We concede. Always put Arsenal down to score, both teams to score on the accumulator, because we always concede.
Yeah.
Always. We're shocking.
Paul, mate, so thank you very much for joining us, mate, giving us your time.
Problem.
Thanks very much, mate.
No problem. All right. Cheers, boys. See you later. Cheers.
Nice one, mate.
Lads, we're going to wrap up the show in a bit. We've been going for a while, and I just want to thank the thousands that are watching us. Still 2,800 people watching us live. If you want to just pick out a final tweet and have a closing sort of comment, I'll start with, and then before we can wrap up the show, if you see anything on Twitter, lads, feel free to just roll it off. Give us the name of the person that's tweeted it, but also just finish it by having your final says on the day as well. Colin, I'll come to you first, mate.
We're not winning the league. We're not. We're out of it by December, which, to be honest, is pathetic. The manager has to go. End of discussion. There's no logical reason that I can see as to why he should stay on. And if anyone can come at me with a logical reason, not a stupid reason, as to say, oh, it's Arsene Wenger, that's why I should stay on. No. A logical reason, because we are not competing. Chelsea are 9 points ahead of us right now. And they are on an 11-game unbeaten run. And the way Chelsea up against Crystal Palace yesterday is how you win titles. They could have gone for the jugular and killed off Palace 3 or 4-0. But they didn't. They were content with the 1-0. And they were like, all right, we've got our goal. Job done. Let's just sit back, defend, and take home the 3 points. Can Arsenal do that? Of course not.
Not at the moment. Chris, I'm going to come to you.
Well, I think literally I picked out a tweet that's really illustrated everything that I've said for a long time about Arsene Wenger, and that is from Enquiries. Thank you for your tweet, mate. He basically says, I'm sorry, we've got a manager, not a coach. It's the same formation. This team resembles the manager, just weak. And that's what it is. I've said it for a long time. We don't have a coach. And I think you can see that in the fact that there's never the same tactics. I get the impression that they're never really kind of at halftime, there's never a pep talk, like a really rousing pep talk. Like he's actually come out and said that, you know, whenever the players go into the dressing room, he doesn't say anything for the first 5 minutes. Like, I don't understand. Well, why wouldn't you go in there and try and motivate them, try and refocus them, try and rouse them, shout at them if you need to? And these are the things that have, I'm sorry, and I wasn't a Wenger out from the very get-go. To be honest with you, I was converted at the beginning, towards the end of last season, where I was trying to support him. I was trying to look at him as, you know, maybe if you can respectfully go, then, you know, that's what I want ideally. But I think enough is enough now. I'm sick of this. I hate the idea of standing still and just watching the game go by. And that's exactly what's happening to us. We are watching the game go by. We'll end up being fourth as per usual. And then after, as soon as the season goes, I'm sorry, then it's time to go. Let's He has to. He just has to. For us to progress, he has to go.
There's two lads who have made a close. Saying Arsene Wenger's got to go. Leave.
Stop being so spoiled, Chris. Look what he's done for the club.
Stadium.
Yeah, that's still not paid until 2031. Yeah, millions think it's paid off. Good one. I've picked a tweet out from Andy_Kelly7. Thanks for your tweet, mate. It says, "What must Alexis Sanchez be thinking? Why is he still here?" Does he, basically is going along the lines of Sanchez must be looking around thinking, this club's got nothing to offer me. And he's spot on, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's
going to be gone at the end of the season, lads. That's as being real as you get.
I think he'll go. I think he'll go Munich or Juve or somewhere like that.
Yeah. He'll get into Juve's team as well. He will get into Juve's team, I guarantee you.
Imagine this scenario. We lose Alexis Sanchez. We lose Mesut Ozil, but Arsene Wenger signs a new contract.
Oh, my Lord.
Mate, they'll still find excuses for why that's good. They'll say Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil were they were shit anyway. They're only after the money. Yeah, they didn't do nothing. Do you know what I mean? Mate, listen, Ozil, I'd sell him. Yeah, if we could get 42 million back for him, I'd take your right arm for that now. Yeah, Alexis Sanchez, give him whatever he's worth.
I agree. And people will always find excuses for their agenda. So if that does happen, people will find excuses, like Lee says.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah. They gave up on the manager is what they come out with, or they just went for the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done it to Van Persie. They've done it to Van Persie. They've done it to Nasri and others.
Lads, I'm not being funny, but my fear right now, right, that when Alexis leaves, and I do believe he will be gone in the summer, no doubt about it, this club will be in turmoil, especially if Arsene Wenger signs a new deal. Because, like I said, there is no logical footballing reason that I can come up with as to why Wenger should stay on. And if Alexis leaves, there definitely is not one, because he is the linchpin in our team. Think what you like, but without Alexis, we are nothing. Fact.
It's a fair comment. I think it's a fitting way to finish the show as well. I mean, I just want to thank everybody that's tuned in. I don't do all these all the time. I save them for the big games. And I just want to thank all the thousands that have tuned in, your thousands that have tweeted, the panel, Chris, Colin, Akbar, Sam, everyone that's called in today. I know it's a frustrating time. It's a frustrating result. It's 2 back-to-back defeats. But let's somehow be positive, because it is Christmas, and you never know, things can happen over Christmas period. Games are becoming thick and fast. You never know, Chelsea might drop a couple of points and we're right back in it. So let's try and be positive if we can. And it is Christmas, so I want to take this opportunity to wish you all a very Merry Christmas if you're celebrating it. And if you're not, enjoy the food, enjoy the time off from work, enjoy your time with your family, which is the most important thing. And it's disappointing, but we've got our health to look forward to. And thanks very much for tuning in this evening. Thanks, Lee, Colin, Chris, and all the thousands.
Cheers,
and until next time, take care, guys.